Today I'm going to be showing you a recipe for a sheet pan pumpkin bread, or maybe pumpkin cake, that's so delicious and satisfying you just won't believe it's vegan. Preheat your oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit at this time. The wet ingredients are a neutral oil, I use canola, silken tofu, canned pumpkin, ideally just plain pumpkin, not something with spices or additives, and sugar. Yes, sugar will be mixed with the wet ingredients here. I'm using a stand mixer to blend up my wet ingredients and mix the dry in, but you can also use a hand mixer or even do this manually. The dry ingredients are all-purpose flour, salt, baking powder, baking soda, and pumpkin pie spice. If you don't have pumpkin pie spice, you can use a mix of cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, and or allspice to make your own. You'll want a separate bowl for dry ingredients. I'm giving this recipe both by weight, which I recommend the most, and by volume, so you can use measuring cups and spoons if you don't have a food scale. I'll bake in a large glass oven tray, which I'll coat with cooking spray. You can also grease it with vegan butter or something else if you prefer. To start, put 170 grams of neutral oil into your wet ingredient bowl, which is about 3/4 of a cup. Then add 170 grams of silken tofu, which is just over half a cup. Then add a full standard 15 ounce or 425 grams can of pumpkin. Then 460 grams of sugar, which is a touch more than 2 cups. Now either use your stand mixer or some other mixer to combine these wet ingredients and break up the tofu. In the stand mixer, that means stirring for about 3 minutes on medium-low or medium, as long as you're not splattering the mixture out of your bowl. At that time, things will be evenly incorporated and the silken tofu will be broken up and mostly liquefied. In a separate bowl, add in 270 grams of flour, which is about 2 cups or just a touch more than 2 cups. Then add in half a teaspoon of salt, which is 3 grams, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, which is 5 grams, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder, which is 4 grams. Last, add in 1 to 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice, depending on how much spiced flavor you want. I typically go for 2 teaspoons and have a nice, flavorful mix in my final product. Give your dry ingredients a stir, and now take them over and carefully pour them into your wet. And either mix around or use the stand mixer to combine for 1 minute until everything is evenly incorporated. Now thoroughly spray or grease your cooking tray so this mix doesn't stick. With me using the stand mixer, I then take a spatula and scrape the sides down and fold a couple of times to ensure uniformity of the batter. I then pour and scrape the pumpkin mix in, and use my spatula to spread the top and get an even thickness. This is important to ensure it bakes at a constant rate and comes out uniformly done. With that, slide it into your preheated 325 degree Fahrenheit oven, where it'll stay for about 55 minutes total. At 35 minutes, rotate the tray to ensure even cooking. Then, after 20 more minutes, or 55 minutes total, you can pull it and stab it with a knife. If the knife pulls out mostly clean, it's done and ready to come out of the oven. If not, let it go for a few more minutes. Let it cool for at least 30 minutes before eating. This pumpkin cake bread thing is a real treat. It's rich and sweet and full of complex flavors from the spice mix. This whole tray only lasts about 3 days for me and my girlfriend. It'll keep on the counter for a few days without going stale or spoiling. In fact, the silken tofu really helps prevent this from getting dry and stale better than most cakes, including ones with egg and other binders. I bet you'll be really impressed with this pumpkin dessert and its longevity. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Also drop a comment below describing your experience with this recipe or what you want to see next.